Ladies and Muffliato. So rude. Hello and welcome back to Real World Magic, where we make your life more magical. My name is Neil Trigger, international author of the Midnight Chronicles fantasy book series. And I'm here in Hogwarts Library today to talk to you about how to write magical fantasy books. Before we get into it, I wanted to let you know that as soon as I reach 1,000 subscribers, I'll be giving away a complete set of all of my books to one of the 1,000 subscribers. If that's before my fourth novel is released, I'll then follow that up with my fourth novel as soon as possible. Now, I'm not the world's greatest novelist, I don't pretend to be, but I do have some top tips when it comes to writing a top novel. Let's do this as a top 10 list, shall we? Number 10. Start writing. Yes, I know it's so bloody obvious, but you know what stops most people becoming an author is that they simply don't write, and it's madness. They don't write anything, and so they're not an author. Even a bad author is more of an author than someone who doesn't write anything. So start, and start now. How do you do that? Well, I use my iPhone and iPad a lot. I'm using both of them right now. My iPhone's there behind the auto cue, and the iPad is poking up all of the words so I can read them. My iPhone is my main tool for virtually everything. I film and edit all of my videos on it, and I add green screen effects and voiceovers, and yes, I even use it to upload. But I also write books on it. I use an app called Scrivener, and yes, it's an iPhone. You can hate iPhones if you really want to. I honestly don't care. It allows me to shuffle ideas about a lot and keep track of the little skitty bits. Okay, so that's that. Get writing. If the page is blank, write something you know will be crap, because at least then you're writing. And I did that with my first novel, and after a few pages of horrid writing, I found a nugget which I could run with. I threw away 99% of it, but that's okay too, and it leads me on nicely to my next point. Number 9, destroy your writing. Now that you've written something, get rid of it. Okay, not straight away, but in writing a fantasy novel, like any book writing, you need to think about killing your children.
I don't mean your actual children. Goodness me, that's gone very dark all of a sudden.
I'm talking about not getting too attached to your writing. My fourth novel had about 26 chapters that I culled completely before I was happy with the opening. And I must say, my latest version is much tighter and much slicker than the previous ones. So get rid, read it back, and try again. Hire an editor or a harsh critic and see what they want you to remove. It's an ego-thrashing experience, but you will become a stronger author as a result. Number 8. Write about what you know. If you're writing a fantasy novel, you might think that nothing you know is relevant to your book, but you're wrong. Harry Potter's author J.K. Rowling,
not Rowling,
knew about poverty and loss long before she wrote about the poor orphan Harry Potter. She knew about pain and suffering before she created the Dementors. She knew about oppression and politics before she wrote about Umbridge and the Ministry of Magic. Write about what you know. I've included love in my novels and childlike wonder. I've included argument, stress, confusion, fear of the dark and the unknown, curiosity and weirdness, bullying and friendship, redemption as well as revenge and angst, and all things I have first experience of. Now, if you're a gay 16-year-old boy, you're unlikely to write a novel about the trials and tribulations of giving birth to a monster's child.
Although you may want to try it, that sounds awesome.
Number 7. Get out of your comfort zone.
Hold on, but I'm sure you just said something.
Petrificus totalis. Now stay down. I know I said write about what you know, but you need to get out of your comfort zone too. Is it more fun to write about going to work and then coming home, eating a tube of Pringles and going to bed? Or is it better to write about going to work, opening that Pringles tube in the canteen, and it being full of killer wasps whose stings imbue the employees with magical powers?
Frank from accounting suddenly got a lot less boring now, didn't he?
Feel free to steal these ideas, by the way. They're all mine, but I'd love to see how these stories turn out. Number 6. Avoid the weather. Starting books with, "It was a cold and stormy night," is fine for fairy stories, corny ghost stories, or if you were born in the 1700s. But nowadays, it's boring. It's predictable and it's cliche. And I must say as an addendum to this that my first novel and the first novel of a friend of mine, Lucy Jones,
L.A. Jones's The Nightmare Factory is now available from Orchard Books and is not a sponsor of this video.
we both used the same simile in our breakout novels. We both said that the wind was howling and clawing at the window like an angry monster trying to get in. We both thought that we were being very clever, and we both published our books at about the same time, and neither of us stole the idea from the other. But that does lead me on to my next point. Number 5, be original. Simile and metaphor are both powerful tools, so use them carefully, sparingly, and cleverly. For example, some people may say that he flew into the air like a bullet and then floated to earth as light as a feather. But if you said that he was blasted into the air like the soles of his feet had exploded, and then he floated like a mote of dust on a beam of sunlight, that second image is a lot more evocative because it's just not so cliche. Like my point on weather, you need to avoid being boring. I described my goblins like slimy avocados with long gorilla arms. That conjures an image, so try to find what your readers know and work with that. And that leads me on to point number 4. Number 4, you're in charge. It's your book. Like any creative process, do not let the audiences make the decisions. Do you think we wanted Professor Dumbledore to die? Of course not. But if he didn't, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows would have been much easier to deal with.
Chapter 1. Harry Potter and Dumbledore stay at Hogwarts and zip off occasionally together with a small army to break Horcruxes with a convenient sword.
The end. Dumbledore has to die so that we can follow Harry into a much more difficult story arc. You need to do this too. Don't let your favourite characters or your audience dictate where the story goes. You are the architect, you are the boss, and dare I even say, you are the god who created this world. They're there because you put them here, for a reason. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. You are in charge. Number 3, you are not in charge. What? Avada Kedavra! Hold on. I'm gonna need a shovel. Yeah, so you are not in charge. I know what I said and I stand by that, but let's remember you are not the only one creating this world. The words are yours, but the pictures are not. You give shadows, hints, the colour scheme comes from the reader. I once heard that books are far better than movie adaptations because with a book, the pictures are better, and I tend to agree. Writing a book is a process, and it's a hard one. People will love it, people will hate it, people will criticise and adore in equal measure. If you're good, feedback will be good, and if you've stayed this far into this video, then the chances are that you're much better than most people because you want to learn and you want to get better. So well done you! And on that note, number 2, read a lot. I heard that rapper Eminem will not listen to any music at all when he records his own music for fear of getting influenced surreptitiously. But this is just the period of time when he's recording. While he's composing, he's always checking stuff out and making new sounds.
I'm going to sing with my bottom.
And so it is with reading and writing. How can you write a good novel if you've never read a book? If you drive a lot or use your hands or eyes during the day, try audiobooks. I'm a member of Audible and I've got tons of books on all of the subjects, from fantasy novels to self-help books. I just love the written word, even when read by others. And they're not sponsoring me either, by the way. So expand your mind and try things you may not have considered before. And finally, number 1, keep going. The main point of all of this is to write. We started this list with just doing it, and we need to end this list with a similar point. Once you get going, do not lose momentum or focus, just finish the book. Now, I've made this point number 1 for a reason, and I'm not going to just say, keep going, and that's it. Even when your first draft is finished, keep going. Still keep going. Finished does not mean finished. It means that the first draft is finished. It's done, and now you need to tidy up. Now the hard work begins. Make some weird bits look like you meant that to happen all along. Add some twists and turns, sure, but explain them. Read it again and sort out bits that look odd. Leave it for a few weeks and then read it again. That extra time will work a magic all of its own to make your magical fantasy book a success. Thanks very much for watching, guys. As always, please share this with all of your friends, share it far and wide, tell everyone about it. It's that sort of thing that really helps this channel out a lot. Click that like button if you liked it, subscribe if you really liked it, and click the bell button to be notified of future uploads. So that's it for this video, but until next time, as always, stay magical.